just gross today. This is the part where I think it's probably just triggering some avoidance psychological impacts on my psyche because I'm having to deal with the idea of looking into this goon's face. But I do think it's good that and this is sort of like History of the World Part 1. I doubt there's going to be a part 2. And if there is, it'll be basically the same shit. If this goes anywhere, maybe we're only seeing the left side of the screen in this episode and the other things are for the next episode. I don't know. This is the most egregious thumbnail in Rudy's history. So we will see. This is obviously from the the depths of Rumble, but there you have it. Anyways, this is his top 10 stories of 2021. Let me guess. How many do we have any what's the upside or what are the betting odds on him suggesting that saying the hard drive from hell as opposed to the laptop from hell and sort of mixing those stories and forgetting which one he's supposed to say? What do you think the odds are? We'll find out. I'm excited to see it. The smile is creeping me out, and he looks. It is the one moment where Andrew looks like him. If I was Andrew, I would be sweating right now. Here we go. And this is probably going to have an ad right for it. Yeah. Here I am fishing.
Every veteran's mental health care treatment is unique because every veteran is...
And let's see. I don't know that there's a way to... No? Okay, we'll just cut it there. Keep playing. There you go. We'll get through it in the ad in just a second. Give me a second. It'll bring it up. Hi, everybody. Hi, chat room. Hello. Welcome. Thank you, guys. Hi. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to share and like and subscribe and all that stuff while the ad plays. And 3, and 2, and 1, and go.
This is Rudy Giuliani with Rudy's Common Sense.
Jesus Christ. Just say it, man. Spit it out. It takes me a while to say what I'm going to say at the beginning of my show, but I didn't edit it. This is all live. I'm doing stuff before I show up here, and at least I should... Hi, I'm Hal Sparks. Welcome to Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. I'm... Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. There we go. Is that better?
The episode today, or actually the episodes for the next 2 days, the next 2...
Oh, great. I'm glad. Yes.
For the end of the year will be about
why you and Kevin Sorbo are in the same hotel room for Christmas.
10 stories of the year, particularly with an emphasis on those that have a tail into 2022. In other words, those that we will be covering in 2022 and those in which we're going to have to perform what we regard as our special role, which is to bring you the information that isn't covered by the mainstream media, which is now a substantial amount. I selected these along with Dr. Maria Ryan, who played a...
Yeah, I selected these with the person who actually did the work for this episode. Sorry, golden milk's a bit spicy.
One some of the most successful of these, if not the most successful. And so therefore, this is our kind of joint selection. And we'd love to see if you have a different take on it.
I'm pretty sure I do, Rudy. I'm fairly certain I have a different take on it. It's a lovely way of putting it.
And you can do that at rudyscommonsense.com.
I can do that anywhere. I can do that right here at Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide.
We're going to do it in reverse.
Thanks, 1524 Scooter.
Number 1 will be in the next podcast on New Year's Eve. But no,
why would you drop a podcast on New Year's Eve when you and your one viewer are both going to be hungover?
10 would have been the top story of the year. Democrats were hoping to be the top story of the decade. It was intended to do what they've been trying to do for 5 years, ruin Donald Trump. I mean, what do they do? 2 phony impeachments and 3 phony investigations? Well, this was just as exaggerated. And that's the insurrection of 2021.
Oh, I see. So the insurrection, that's the 10th story of the list, and it's all phony, and we all hoped it would be the way we would take down Trump. We were all planning, apparently. It's not just the FBI and Antifa and BLM, but apparently all of us, any Democratic voter, we're all conspiring together to get Donald Trump to gather his supporters in front of the White House and send them to the Capitol to be lunatics. It was our plan would have worked too if it hadn't been for those meddling kids and their stupid dog.
January 6, 2021, the insurrection that was carried out without a shot being fired, without
Ashley Babbitt's family would like a word.
a gun being taken with them.
Without a gun being taken with them. Is that what we're gonna say, Rudy? That's where we're going with this? Hold on. Not for a lack of trying. Alabama man pleads guilty to parking truck full of guns and ammo near the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. See, he just couldn't get through. There was something was scrambling his phone signal. He couldn't tell everybody which truck to go get the guns out of, and they just left him there. Lonnie Leroy Kaufman is 71, from Falkville, Alabama. Which famous for the sign outside of town that says, "Welcome to Falkville. Now go Falk yourself." He confessed to walking around Washington, D.C. with 2 loaded firearms on January 6th. He's been detained since his arrest on the day of the U.S. Capitol insurrection. So didn't bring a gun, mainly because the lack of coordination. And again, not for lack of trying. All of these assholes, we owe them a debt of gratitude for being, while attempting a coup, being the biggest fuck-ups on Earth. Not a gun being carried anywhere near there. Okay, and not a shot being fired, except the one that went into Ashley Babbitt.
That was going to be done with paper clips.
Paper clips. What? Is that a joke reference, or the fact that that's all they had on them was the idea? So the cops that were beaten with flagpoles that had Blue Lives Matter flags on them, that doesn't count. It's the fact that these guys had paper clips.
Pitchforks.
Tell you what, Rudy. You have a pitchfork, and I'll have a paperclip. We'll have it out. It will be completely unfair, and I'll still win.
Funny concept.
But you will be filed under asshole.
Look.
What?
The people who trespassed in the Capitol committed a crime.
Uh-huh. Yes, they did. And they intended to commit other ones. Hence the gallows. Hence the weapons. Hence the heave-ho bashing in the door. Hence the chipping a cop's spine, injuring 140 cops, blinding one in one eye, shocking one with his taser so many times he had a fucking heart attack. But they were really just showing their patriotism.
Who created a commotion in the Capitol committed.
Guys, it was a commotion. That's what it was. The Confederate flag being carried in our nation's capital for, which didn't even happen during the fucking Civil War when these assholes lost, happened on the day. But it was a commotion. It was a racket. They were being rambunctious. It was a bunch of hooligans.
The people who destroyed property in the Capitol surely committed a crime.
Uh-huh. Yes, they did. Don't call me Shirley.
But they didn't shoot anybody.
No, they were planning on dragging them out and hanging them, fucko. But they didn't shoot anybody. They trampled one of their own to death.
They weren't trying to take over the government.
Yes, they were. They just thought they had Confederates on the inside that if they overpowered and fucking hand strangled AOC and Pelosi, that MTG and Jim Jordan would have their backs with Ted Cruz, and they would just take over the fucking place. They thought they had orders from the president. They tried to take one of the cops' guns specifically. They were going to kill him with it.
They're going to take over the wealthiest, biggest, strongest government in the world with the biggest military in the history of the world without even bringing a single gun?
Yeah, that was the idea. The idea was that they were going to take over the Electoral College, send it back to the states, then the House would vote, and because there were more Republicans states represented, there would be this kind of senating or electoral colleging of the votes in the House, and therefore they could just steal the election and hand it back because there's more, even though there are fewer Republicans, they represent more Republican states. And since there's one each, they outnumber the Dems if you don't count the districts that have a whole lot of fucking people in them.
And then not doing anything afterwards to follow up on.
Yeah, they did do something afterwards. They went to jail, the ones that didn't skedaddle and run home. And some of those also went to jail. Fuck you, Rudy.
Can't you see that this is as phony and as wild a lie as Schumer and Pelosi and Schiff have ever engaged in?
What do you mean? They didn't engage in it. We all watched it on television, fucko. What?
I mean, some of them said it was worse than 9/11.
Yeah, it was. It was. Because 9/11 struck the Twin Towers and affected our economic system, but it wasn't a direct, they never hit the Capitol.
Worse than Pearl Harbor. Worse than the Civil War.
Well, no. Worst thing since the Civil War, insofar as at no point during the Civil War did anybody, hold on, why am I all jumpy? I'm going to move this piece of software around, see if it wakes up. At no point during the Civil War did anybody fucking carry a Confederate flag in the rotunda, in the fucking Capitol.
Do they really think we're that stupid?
Yes, Rudy, we all, and I think I can speak for everyone out there, we really, really do think you're that stupid. I don't know who the we you think you're speaking for is, because you seem to be filming this alone in a hotel room someplace, or being an asshole and filming it in the lobby, which is also, I wouldn't put, nothing is beneath you, so there's a chance you're taking up the business center doing this. But yeah, we all definitely, right, guys? General consensus, straw poll. Do we all think that Rudy is stupid? Yes, we indeed do.
But the worst part of this is,
oh, the worst part. I thought the worst part was nearly killing police officers, blinding one, having one have his thumb removed, and a woman getting shot, charging through as she was attempting with others to kill members of Congress because her preferred candidate lost a fair and square election that you fucked with for months and still attempt to malign. What's the worst part? And if you say that you lost or that it was a rigged election,
the way they have trampled on the rights of the people who are alleged to have committed crimes on
No, they have not trampled on anybody's fucking rights. A bunch of these assholes who were violent went home. Judges were like, all right, do you promise not to murder anybody in a stage insurrection? Yes, I promise. All right, well, you can go home. Do I have to wear an ankle monitor? Of course not. Shit ton of those people went home. The only people who are still in the jail are the ones who were like, doing their best Charles Manson impersonation on their fucking bail hearing.
Some of whom probably did it. Some of them.
Yeah, but well, that's what a trial is for, fucko. And most of them would qualify for bail, except they videotape themselves. At a certain point, we need another word beside alleged. If you filmed your fucking self doing the crime.
We didn't, but all of whom are presumed innocent.
Yes, but the presumption of innocence does not mean we let you just walk around from when you were caught to when you get a trial. Because some people can be trusted during that period to not do it again. Some people will tell you, if you let me out, I'll spill more blood. Well, then you gotta fucking stay inside. You're in the jail. I'm sorry. You gotta go back to eating your, non-gluten diet or whatever the fuck. Sorry. Sorry, you gotta stay in jail. Why? Well, because you're here for sexual assault and you just said given half a chance you'd rape the bailiff. So you're not, no, you can't leave. But I deserve bail. All right. Some bail. Okay, how about this? 700 million bail, cash. Get the fuck out of here. You're not leaving. You're a danger to, you just admitted you're a danger to society. You're presumed innocent. We're definitely going to have a trial. But since you were caught in the act and you fucking filmed yourself and you're threatening all of your fellow Americans, presumably. We don't need to find you driving through Iowa with an AR-15 and a kill list, fucko. You get back to DC jail with you. Shoo.
To be when Republicans and decent Democrats take control of this country. They've been held in jail now for 10 months.
Yes. Many of them would have gotten out on bail if they had not threatened people.
Over the country, under Democratic mayors and Soros DAs and everyone else, we let everybody go free without bail, except they're.
No, not everybody. You know what? There's a bunch of people, by the way, who probably should be in jail, who got out because DAs are being too lax about it. But I guarantee in those bail hearings, the person who got bail, who didn't deserve it, didn't go, fuck you, judge. If I could come across this table, I'd choke the shit out of you. And then went, well, okay, right. But granted, I understand you've been through a lot. You know, I release you on your own recognizance.
Well, there is a story that remains that makes it one of the top 10 stories of the year. And that is the murder of Ashley Babbitt.
No, she was not murdered. Fuck you. She was not murdered. She was trespassing in the Capitol. She was participating in the breaking down of a door while Congress was being evacuated. There were armed guards. She knew there were armed guards. That's not murder. That's suicide by cop, if anything. But secondarily, like, what's in her backpack, Rudy? Tell us the contents of Ashley Babbitt's backpack right now. What'd she have on her? Do you know? Do you know what she had in her bag as she was coming through that window? Any idea? Any materials, any firearms, any bombs, anything that could be used to kill members of Congress as the vanguard, as the first person to cross the line. And by the way, due to the fact that she was fired upon, the only person to breach that part of the Capitol. Do you know what she had in her bag? Because neither did the cop who shot her, and it was his job to make sure she didn't get any further.
I've been involved in prosecution more in my life than anything else, and I've prosecuted.
Well, just wait, buddy. Wait till you find out what it's like on the receiving end.
Some of the most significant cases of the 20th century.
Oh, you mean where you broomed the Italian mob so the Russians and the Chinese could move in, and then you magically became mayor? Weird.
I don't back up to anyone on my knowledge of prosecution.
It's been a while, buddy.
I saw that, which had to be 3 hours after it happened. I said to myself, this is a possible homicide.
Yes, hey, fucko, it is a homicide. When a person kills another person, that's a homicide. That is death by man. That's what it fucking well means. Of course it's a homicide, dickhead. Like the fact that he was just like, I buttress my legal knowledge of it, and I saw this woman shot on camera, on video, and I was like, this might be a homicide. A murder and a homicide aren't the same fucking thing. Jesus Christ.
And within a day or two, I podcast to you all the things ripping apart that false scenario by these.
What false scenario, fucko? We saw it happen. They bashed the window. The door was barricaded. There was a cop standing right there. She went through the window. She got drawn on and killed because there was a ton of people behind her. First of all, have you ever seen a fucking zombie movie? Because in a zombie movie, none of the zombies are armed. There's just a lot of them. And the person with the gun with 9 shots in it has very few chances to stop what's going to happen, especially in a circumstance like that.
Liars. But the thing that has to be investigated, not all the nonsense they're doing with this phony committee that can't get a single real Republican on it, which is illegitimate.
Well, that's I would say define what a real Republican is, because I would argue they don't exist anymore.
By the way, we know from the FBI it wasn't planned.
Yes, the cop did not plan to shoot Ashley Babbitt. she did not plan to get shot. She just thought she was under orders from the fucking president and thought she had the right to climb through a bashed window and strangle one of the squad or whatever the fuck she was going to do.
Except maybe it was planned by Antifa. Because if you go back to my podcast.
No, homicide is not the legal term for murder. Murder is a very specific form of homicide. Not all homicides are murder. When you investigate a homicide, you are not always investigating a murder. It may be self-defense. Self-defense still qualifies as a homicide, but it is legally justified homicide.
You'll see a text that outlines something like 200 and something Antifa members who were involved in it. And when you look,
200 some odd Antifa members were involved out of the 4,000 people. Yeah, well, I guess if you're a maggot, what choice do you have but to follow 200 clear Antifa people? Follow me. What's with your Antifa flag? Don't worry about it. We'll sort that out later. Don't you hate the government too? Yes, I do. See, well, we're brothers in blood right now.
At this video I'm going to show you now, you tell me these aren't Antifa people. And then watch it carefully.
All right. Jesus, dude. First of all, fucko, like, blur shit out. What is wrong with you? I feel like I'm watching the Mike Huckabee Christmas special. We've seen this, stupid. This is I'm sorry. So she was following Antifa's lead, is what we're supposed to. Yes, the guy's filming it, right? What's this guy with the Spartan shirt? And this guy with the Gadsden flag? This guy wearing his Beast shirt? And so I guess the idea is that they must be Antifa. Look at all the neck beards, is the argument. Jesus Christ, Rudy. What the fuck is the matter with you? We've seen this. Like... Christ, it's just gross.
Done, and then there's a pause, and all of a sudden, a woman's body is held up, and she's shot dead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Antifa held her up, and then they coordinated with somebody inside, like, here, shoot her. All right, now we'll all just film it. Like they just did that for fucking footage. What?
She doesn't have a gun. She doesn't have a weapon.
Prove it. She had a backpack on. What was she going to do with it when she got inside? Don't be an asshole. Don't plead ignorant. She was breaching a perimeter that was sealed, that was barricaded while Congress was being evacuated on a day when two people had left, somebody had left two pipe bombs in the morning, and they were carrying them around, wait for it, in a backpack.
The police officer has, as you see on the earlier videos, numerous police officers all over the place behind him. If that woman had jumped over, had been thrown over, because it looked like she was being thrown over.
No, it doesn't. Nobody picked up Ashley Babbitt and chucked her through a fucking window.
There would have been sufficient police officers to subdue her in 2 seconds.
No, they wouldn't have, because they're on the other side of the fucking door, dummy, which is barricaded. They were coming up this way to clear that area. They had not reached there yet. The glass had been breached before the cops got up the steps. The cop that was inside did not see that they were coming up and didn't know that they were coming up in time. And when she breached, he did what he was supposed to do. By the time the shot was fired, they came up and went, everybody get back. And that's what they started doing, was driving people away from that, because they'd been called in at that point. But they were totally outmanned. Oh, God. I mean, we've been through this.
If this had taken place any place else, if we had the slightest bit of fan...
How about this, Rudy? How about this? You're in your home, you have a handgun, and people are bashing in your door and your windows. How many of them are you letting get through the window, Rudy, before you shoot? How many? Now put this in that you're in there, you've got a gun, or you've got security. You have Rudy Giuliani, you have personal security. And they're like, I can let one person through. It's just Rudy. Do you think that guy would still have a job? You think Rudy would keep that if he survived the attack after this guy was selectively? Oh, he likes blondes. She can come in. She's fine. What's in her backpack? Who knows? Zip boom.
Pelosi's Congress. If they had the slightest bit of decency, there'd be an investigation for homicide here.
No, there would not. And by the way, they did have an investigation. They always do after a police shooting. And it was clean. It's a clean shoot. We all saw it. Nobody shoved her through the fucking window. She wasn't dragged there against her will. She thought she was under orders from Donald Trump. She went to her death because he ordered her there. She believed she had a right to go in there and choke the shit out of one of the squad or help Jim Jordan, seize up the works of our electoral process so that Donald Trump could regain his fucking throne. She died because Donald Trump sent her there. Not because a cop did the baseline of his job, which was literally defend a barricaded perimeter.
And it'd be a tough case. Because
no, it wouldn't. It would be fucking easy. It already happened.
There's nothing she did that put his life in jeopardy. Not a.
Fuck, here, Rudy. Let me come into your house with a backpack without checking the contents. Now, I don't even mean the dude fucking harm. But I could, there are things I could bring in my backpack that would make it impossible, let's just say, for his podcast to operate for weeks on end. It would certainly blank a lot of hard drives. I could arguably make all the lights go out with very few elements in my backpack. Now imagine if I was a psychotic who was part of a group that had built a gallows outside your house, Rudy. Imagine that. Imagine if I was with a mob of 4,000 people who hate your guts, but in the group there were allegedly 200 people who think you're great. Who wouldn't defend your life, though, because you represent the government even if you're on their side and they kind of want it to go away anyways because they're basically anarchists. So they'll film you dying, but they won't step in the way. Not when they're outnumbered, 20-1.
And then you look at the way they cared for her afterwards. Looks like they wanted to see her die.
What? Is that what you saw? Where were they? Where was the triage, Rudy? It was a fucking mob. How do you get somebody who's been shot out of a room full of Trump supporters, jacking up every hallway, blocking everywhere? They tried to get one of the cops out. They had to take 3 different routes to get him out of the building when they needed help. The girl who died that was trampled, who took amphetamines or whatever the fuck, the maggot that got run over by her own people. One of the reasons why she died, they weren't able to revive her, is because they couldn't get her the fuck out of there. Because the doors were being knocked in.
Has to be investigated if we're going to bring this country together.
No, it doesn't. The whole country's not hinging on a good shoot from a cop defending a perimeter. Nobody is sweating this. No one.
We have 2 systems of justice in this country, particularly about murder. And
no, wait a minute. We have 2 systems of justice in this country, particularly about murder? The fuck are you talking about? I honestly don't know what that means unless he's still grinding over OJ or some shit. What do you mean, particularly about murder? Yeah, that's the one area. Not white collar crime. not Trump's tax evasion versus some fucking dude who owns an auto body shop who gets audited out of existence. No, we don't have 2 systems of justice when it comes to tax law as far as rich and poor. No. It's when murder is being decided. What?
So we will now put on a few excerpts. These are from, I believe, from episode 101, but this is contained in episodes 100, 101, and 102.
What? Really? With this, this is an index episode? How long is this fucking thing? I'm not doing 27 minutes.
And I want to emphasize, it was done within a week. And it turns out now, almost a year later, that everything I said then is not only true, but there are more facts that corroborate it than I had available then.
These people.
Okay, I'm very excited to see this. We probably watched this episode when it happened.
Talking amongst themselves, and I was standing and listening behind them what they could do to make Trump's people look bad.
The number 9 story of the year.
Yeah, after the fact, maggots standing outside going, "That was not us. I were Antifa all over the place. They were like saying stuff. I mean, I overheard them saying, they should, here's a good idea. Let's dress up like maggots and vote Trump for 5 fucking years." And then
is the significant mental deterioration of Joseph Biden.
Oh, the significant mental deterioration of
I had to beat off
of Joseph R. Biden. The
de-engineering. People want other people to stop shooting and knifing people to death. Action replays in magnified fortune. Look.
Burmese, the Burmese executives. So these Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
Verona is in Italy.
To me, Corona means Italy.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
So we're going to get it going to a level that nobody can ever turn course on us. Nobody can ever change.
No, definitely not.
Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
The sand was loaded up with blood.
Right, that's yeah.
For Iowa values.
You could say Iowa values, can't you?
For Iowa values.
Is that? I still haven't decided whether that was a brain fart, a real, like he actually is pooping.
For Iowa values.
You know what I mean? Like he just, when he just, it's coming out and there's just no stopping it.
For Iowa values.
And and he just made some soup in his drawers and kept talking.
For Iowa values.
We still don't know.
I don't read, obviously.
Well, cognitive decline being what it is, sure. And of course, no one is a better medical advisor than Trump.
I felt really good almost after taking it.
Some of these lines sound like lines Chevy Chase's character in Caddyshack said as a joke. You know what I mean?
I felt really good almost after taking it.
Compared to even the Joseph Biden who ran for president, which you then can compare to the Joseph Biden who ran for president back.
Rudy, speed it up a little. You're not making a strong case about mental deterioration if the sentence takes a fucking week to get out of your face.
Well, ran for vice president in 2012 and 2008 ran for president, then ran for vice president.
That would be 2007, 2008 is when he won. They won and they became he became vice president in 2000. He was fucking hell.
And it is obvious to the whole world.
Sure.
That there is a significant cognitive impairment.
Is there?
That is interfering.
Yes, we're all watching it right now.
With his ability to communicate, his ability to remember, his ability to make sense, his ability to put thoughts together.
Nice glass house, Rudy.
That has to be the reason why he's had so few interviews that aren't staged and orchestrated with names given to him. Compared to other presidents, it's
almost like he's got a history of having a fast lip and getting out over his skis and gaffing. So they decided when he became president to manage it better on his request. Because he's got an Irish temper and he doesn't put up with this shit very well.
Here, percentage of the numbers that Trump and even Obama and others had.
And yet, interestingly enough, fewer press conferences, more actual answers than Trump's entire presidency in like a year.
He often makes statements.
Yeah, he often makes statements like, maybe try drinking bleach and maybe put bleach in your lungs, gargle it or something, and shove a light bulb up your ass. If we can get the light in your body, that'd be great.
That give away the fact that he's an old man with an old man's mental deterioration. Things like, I was instructed not to take that question, or I was told who to call on. What president would say that?
I don't think he said either. The first one, I don't know, but the second one, I think you're just inferring from like him having his list and trying to organize the thing so they get all the important news people before he takes Ducey's question and it takes the whole fucking thing off the rails.
There was something wrong with him. Where he
basically his staff, basically Biden's staff is going like, look, stick to the list, and if you want to shit on Ducey in the end, you can take his question last, and that's usually what happens.
Around and can't remember the name of his Secretary of Defense.
I'm sorry, Leather Goddess. I'm sorry I brought up your the Irish temper. Fuck you.
Or as you remember during the campaign, he can't complete the Pledge of Allegiance.
No, what you're thinking is the preamble. Like he goes, you know the thing, because they rolled faster on the prompter, and he was like, all right, I'm on to the next point. I've done it before. I don't have to do it again. That hits the preamble is what he's saying.
Or he turns in the wrong direction and confuses his wife and his sister.
Did he? Or did he look over thinking they were standing on the wrong sides, and they were? And he went, my wife, who's... And they went, oh, my sister, sorry. There you are. Like, because he doesn't have eyes behind his ears. It's nice. The good thing, Trump always dodged this by just not giving a fuck about introducing anybody or making them stand off stage away from him and then dangling like a dickhead waiting for them to come up. But everybody wants to see Melania. Bum, 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 bum. It's like, And then when she talks, like, hey, she can talk. Look who thought she could talk. Did you know she could talk? She can actually. Yes, that's true. 5 eggs.
He tells us that he saw Franklin Roosevelt on the television, reading the comics. There was no television.
Yeah, but when he was young, he watched the film of it on television when they would play it later.
Franklin Roosevelt wasn't on television. And now, take a short break. How much equity do you...
Yeah. Now we take a short break while I sell cigars or try to scare you. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I see. That's what it is. Right. And by the way, I don't know what let's see, 4 freedoms. I'm not quite sure what he's referring to in here, but there's this just the only footage I came up with right away from FDR. There you go. First inaugural address. The like fireside chats. There's him reading stuff by his fireside chats. He meant radio probably when he was talking about it. Presidential. Here you go. C-SPAN. Closed caption recordings.
At web.com, you won't find...
It's very exciting. I don't want to see what I don't want to see. Apparently what I don't want to see. Yes, we get it. Okay, skip ad. Thank you. What do we have here? Whoops, quit. I don't want to... Yeah,
A library built by popular subscription to house the archives, papers, and mementos of the Franklin D. Roosevelt era is dedicated to the nation by the President himself.
And this latest addition to the archives of America is dedicated at a moment when government of the people by themselves is being attacked everywhere. It is therefore proof, if any proof is needed, that our confidence in the future of democracy has not diminished in this nation and will not diminish.
Yay! Hold on 1 second, if I might. TV in 1921. Whoops. The first TV ad ever.
America runs on Bolivar time.
Yeah. Well, it was worth every penny, I think, honestly. That's all you need to know. I don't know what... that's what I like about old ads. They're not fucking around with a bunch of information. I'm riveted. Here it is, the beginning of television in 1941. Hold on 1 second, if I may. I was just a little boy when this first aired. I remember seeing this, Maggie in the air. Vincent Pelter. He was a good man, or whatever. He'd throw shit at you. That's where he got his name from. There's a boy. I remember when TV was live.
Crowds,
look at that.
Music, color, excitement. Who doesn't enjoy a football game?
My ex doesn't enjoy it at all. She says it's a bunch of men putting their hands right up under each other's keister, and she believes in conversion therapy. It's what broke us up.
You're one of the lucky ones able to get a ticket.
Oh, believe me, I got a ticket the other night, and I did not feel lucky. Let me tell you what I would do. Apparently, it is illegal to drive while intoxicated while contributing to the delinquency of a coal miner. Run up, everybody! Get in there in front line, you sucker, everybody! Oh, you cheating son of a dog doodle!
But of course, if you're not, well, it's just too bad.
It is. And oh, phooey. Why does I gotta ask this question? How come all time before 1978 sounded like this? Know what I'm talking about? You know that sound? You know what I'm talking about. Shit. This sound. Fucking everything back in that movie sounded exactly like that. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? You know what I'm talking about. This one. In between people talking in them old fucking movies, everybody was, the whole world was scratchy. Yeah, put on some music. It's weird lack of noise is driving me goddamn crazy.
Unless you happen to live in some parts of the country where, thanks to the newest marvel of modern science, television, you can just lean back in a comfortable chair in the theater or in your own favorite chair at home, relax and watch the game.
That's right. I don't even know the need to go stand in line at that place, get my ass thrown in the mud again, get all dirty and freezing, and I can eat my own roasted nuts at home. Now, the question is, can we find, let's see, Roosevelt on TV. There he is. Roosevelt on TV. Here he is. Oh my God. Excuse me. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Rudolph, that we're about to watch Roosevelt giving some sort of a fucking chat on television.
White House, Washington, the President of the United States talks with confidence about Allied intentions and hopes.
The Russian army will continue its stern offensive.
I mean, no disrespect, but he fucking straight up looks like a lurch. That dude's seen some, I mean, that was a rough life. He was 27.
On Germany's Eastern Front, the Allied armies in Africa and Italy will bring relentless pressure on Germany from the south, and now the encirclement will be complete.
What? Spoiler alert! Is that how that works?
As great American and British forces attack from other points of the compass.
If you know what I'm saying, I've been attacked from a couple of points of the compass, and I gotta say, I have no regrets.
The United Nations have no intent.
Anyways, just for the record, this is Roosevelt on television. This is FDR. Hold on, let me see this.
Interviews that aren't staged and orchestrated with names given to them. Compared to other presidents, it's a mere percentage of the numbers that Trump and even Obama and others had. He often makes statements.
Yeah, you do realize he's only been in office 10 months, and it's been in the time that he's been in there, he's passed the largest rescue package in American history, the biggest infrastructure package in 35 years. And that's in modern dollars even. So fuck you. And we've got over 70% of the public is vaccinated. Sorry, is it do shit or talk shit? I forget.
Give away the fact that he's an old man with an old man's mental deterioration. Things like, I was instructed not to take that question, or I was told who to call on. What president would say that? Unless there was something wrong with him, where he turns around and can't remember the name of his Secretary of Defense. Or as you remember during the campaign, he can't
I don't know. That's a question for Tim Apple, actually.
The Pledge of Allegiance.
Again, the preamble.
Or he turns in the wrong direction and confuses his wife and his sister. He tells us that he saw Franklin Roosevelt on the television, reading the comics.
Oh, hold on. Roosevelt, let's see, on TV. Let's see. TV. Let's see if we can just find reading. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of Roosevelt on television. There's also a lot of his wife too. A lot of let's see. Legacy of the Decades TV network. There you go.
He guided the.
There he is.
My firm belief.
Banks were failing. Farms and factories
Can be preserved and made to work. But in order.
broadcast into living rooms all over the.
Let's see.
People wanted him to live. He thought he would live out his term. He was thinking this was the last term. This was retirement.
All right, there's tons of this stuff, but that's the idea. Like he was on TV.
Television.
There was no television. There was no television when Franklin Delano Roosevelt was president. Now, that's one of the miracles of modern American life, is that you can actually, let's see, that they would play these in movie house. Excuse me, they would play these in movie houses, but they would also play them on TV. But there was no TV. Also, again, who is deteriorating? If I know that television was invented during the life of Roosevelt, during FDR's life, and Rudy doesn't, and he's how much older than me? The shit. And then
on television. And now we'll take a.
That's good. So and now we'll take a short break to watch Roosevelt on television. All right, let me cut ahead through the ad, and this is him like sign up and so I can steal your money, blah blah blah.
Inflation, spending.
Is this a rhetorical, physical move that works in conversation?
Economy and dependency, all rolled up into one, because they're all the same thing.
Are they? Guys. Inflation, monetary policy. What was it? What was the other one? Sorry, I can't skip back on this. Hold on.
Dependency, all rolled up into one, because they're all the same thing. A $100 value free. Go to home.
It's got the $100 value, which means you don't have to watch the rest of it.
HomeTitleLock.com. That's HomeTitleLock.com. Thank you for returning. And now we get to story number 8. Inflation, spending.
Inflation and spending are the same thing, especially if you're an economist. If you're spending money on stuff that's inflating, it's inflation.
Economy and dependency, all rolled up into one.
Economy and dependency are all the same thing.
They're all the same thing.
Sure. Yes. Spending and inflation and economy and dependency are all the same thing.
And this has been a disaster for our economy and for our people, because it affects every single one of us, from the richest to the poorest. Inflation is a tax on everyone because it costs more to buy things. And you're
derp. Okay, then the entire world is being taxed by supply shock.
Our value will go down if they continue to do this. Biden is spending like the old expression of John McCain.
A drunken sailor.
Drunken sailor.
Mm-hmm.
He's spending more than any president in the history of America.
Well, not even close to true. First of all, the rescue package being part of dealing with COVID, and we're still getting through that, and it's keeping the economy buoyed up. And also a 10-year plan for infrastructure that ultimately makes its money back is not spending like a drunken sailor. The Fed is buying fucking treasuries. Again, this is like this slapdash bullshit. You can tell, like, when dumb people watch dumb economic news that tells them what they want to hear, and then they relate it to someone even dumber. That's Rudy's idea of the economy.
He has either spent or proposed spending more than it cost us for the Second World War.
the Second World War, by the way, fought at a time when there was a lot fewer people and a lot less money in circulation. As a matter of fact, the size of our economy has doubled since 2000. That's right, $10 trillion to more than doubled, because now it's $26 trillion. Current economy. In the last 10 months, because of COVID largely, and the impacts therein and people deciding to move out, and the decision by Biden to use taxpayers' money to loan money, which will be paid back in interest, so the taxpayer will make money if this actually works out, and it will, to have, and even if it doesn't, the cost of not having chips made in the United States is prohibitively expensive, even if it long-term costs more cash, or short-term costs more cash. In the long term, not having to go through another bubble caused by, a Chinese crash of the like that we just went through, is worth it, right? And also, that shitty little thing, slave labor, that we would rather not use, that might drive, the cause of inflation. Yeah, getting rid of slavery caused a lot of inflation. But cotton was so much more inexpensive before the Civil War, and now, shit.
The last bill, this one that's $2 trillion, but it could be $5 trillion.
It's 1.7 trillion, fucko. And it's not going to be 2 trillion. It's going to be, over time, 20 trillion loaned into existence and gotten back. Okay? Over the course of the next 20 years, because there's an infrastructure bank. And you seed it with $50 billion. They can loan out 10 times that amount. They get that money back, and they get interest on it. That pays for other programs and is used. It's technically a liability on the books, but it's a long-term asset. But it's not going to cost the tax. Even if we lost that $50 billion full out, even if we lost the money put forward, it's still spent into the economy, and other people have to pay it back in bankruptcy court. Blah blah blah.
Put us in a stratosphere of, we could have gone to the moon 40 times.
Yeah, but we don't have to go to the moon. We have to save our bridges.
The first COVID relief bill should have been only about 60 billion. It was something like 800.
Should have been like 60 billion. Should have been. You mean under Trump? After we had to go back and dip again to salvage, and then go back a third time. Does he mean the actual? Hold on. Package. Let me see if I hold on one second. These are too new, these articles. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I think it was Moody's. I want to say it was Moody's that did this, but it might have been. There it goes. Moody's Analytics. The Biden fiscal rescue package. Light on the horizon. President Biden's proposed $1.9 trillion fiscal rescue package, the American Rescue Plan, would provide a large boost to the economy. Hold on, let me blow this up for you guys. If passed into law, this additional economic support, whoops, too big. With this additional economic support, real GDP growth could be as robust as nearly 8% this year and almost 4% next, bringing the economy back almost to full employment by fall of 2022. By the way, it worked faster than that. Given the complicated politics of what Biden is proposing, it would likely have to be passed under budget reconciliation. It was, requiring only a majority vote in Senate. Even we expect the legislation that ultimately gets through the Congress to be no more than half the size proposed. Nope, got the whole thing through. Setting the stage for another fiscal proposal later this year, Biden's Build Back Better campaign agenda. One way or another, through this step or over several steps, we ultimately expect fiscal support to the economy under the new Biden administration that totals close to what was proposed Thursday. It is thus the impact of the level of support that we assess here. This is their whole like, it's going to work. We need this. There we go. Hold on. Going big. Where does it say? Biden fiscal. What was in it? Where it went? Here's the whole thing as they were doing it. Blah blah blah. Let me see. Tricky politics. Read that. Okay. There might be a chart 2. Back to full. No fiscal support. This is how long it takes. Biden fiscal rescue. Later. Here's where it brings it down. Whoop. Wake faster is the idea. And then with that, you make the money back that you lost in tax revenue during that time. Let's see. Local government response, stronger economy, tricky politics, let's see. Economic impact. Wait, I don't know if they said it in this actual article. What's in the composition, including many of the measures that have been made up in previous package. Financially stressed households will receive more unemployment insurance, food assistance, aid back rent, health care, paid leave. There's also a substantial increase in the child tax credit. Most costly is a plus up of $2,000 per person to the 600 economic impact payments or stimulus checks. That said, Biden's expansive fiscal policy proposal is good economic policy. The economy is far from full employment. Inflation remains well below the Federal Reserve 2% target. The Fed has effectively promised to keep short-term rates at the zero lower point until the economy is at full employment, which, by the way, it reached near full employment already. We're at 4.2. I mean, that's within your margin of error for just humanity. And inflation has been consistently above 2%, which is what they started to do. They announced their taper. They announced the raise in interest rates in 3 stages next year. Rudy does not understand that because Rudy is stupid. And I mean that in the most pejorative sense.
Because there was money left over from the earlier COVID. The second COVID bill, a lot of it's not even being...
Yeah, but allocated for specific things. It can't just be... He doesn't have total control over that expenditure. You have to go back through the Congress for that. That's why you go back and you put through another bill, because the spoken for money and those other things, which, by the way, was loaned or granted into existence, and if it's not spent, it doesn't exist. This whole idea they're just printing money and handing it out. If they offer loans, that money is loaned into existence. The federal government loans it into a bank. The bank loans it out to people. If the people don't ask for loans from the bank, then the bank doesn't get it from the federal government and the money doesn't exist. It's allocated in monetary policy, but it doesn't automatically get created.
On COVID and the one that everybody likes that the silly Republicans voted for infrastructure is only 30% infrastructure. And now they got the big dependency bill, which they call Build Back Better. It actually is Make America Communist.
Is it? I didn't realize. It's MAC, not MACA, not Make America Communist again. That would have, I guess, McCarthy era stuff. It's MAC.
America Socialist. Would you like that better as a euphemism? Make America.
No, because neither is true. None of this spending is socialism. None of this stuff is communism. It is taxation with representation. It's what functioning countries in a modern world do.
How about make America dependent? Nobody has to work. And we're going to...
Well, no, that's why the UI stuff was over earlier, and the payments for student loans is going to kick back in. He wrote off $11 billion for people in like that are going to be first responders, or they're going to be nurses, they're going to be like crucial jobs, because the value of more of those people available to do the work versus that money that was sitting in there as far as what it costs the country long term, it's a better investment to free those people of their financial burden. But that doesn't mean everybody who went to fucking Wharton to be a hedge fund manager who's got $200,000 worth of debt should get theirs written off or not have to pay for it because they got a shit job at Moody's.
Like all the illegals to come over so they don't have to work here too.
What? If the country was flooded with illegals, we wouldn't have any empty jobs.
I'm going to vote. All road.
No, you can't. They can't vote. They cannot vote. You can't vote unless you're a citizen. If you try to vote when you're not a citizen, you can't become a citizen.
Up into one. So we might as well call ourselves the United States of Socialism.
Why? Because that makes a thumbnail or some shit. I think I have tolerance for about 2 more minutes of this bullshit.
Luckily, one man has stood up against it on the Democrat side. All Republicans are against it. 60% of America's against it.
No, that's the opposite is true. 60% of America's for it, including 60% of Republicans are either totally for it or somewhat for it. Thanks,
Hopefully,
dude.
going to the new year, we can keep fighting it off.
Thank you, Mandy.
Or any remnant of it. I mean, to say you get this down to $1 trillion still means we bankrupt this country, create inflation of enormous amounts. Remember, this is...
No, it doesn't. Not even close. Honest to God, this like over-tightened fiscal policy based on like the premise that half the fucking country is farmers or some shit is nonsense. And the money that's going out is creating factories, which are creating jobs in stagnant states. That without that investment, without that money flowing through the system, these old factories stay shut down. Arizona's going to have like 7 chip factories in it within 5 years. They've already broken ground on 2 of them. There's 3 up and running.
President who told you.
Yes, Evo, good point. Build Back Better costs Americans $2 a day, period. You're right.
In March of this year, remaining year, this would be transitory. What is it now? Almost the end of the year. It's been 6 months of record inflation. Which
because of gas and used car fucking prices. Guess what, by the way? You know how... oh, I've got to do this. Hold on. No, yeah. I got time. Okay, all right. Remind me to, like at 6:15 is my absolute out. I just got a message. I got to do something at 6:15. Anyways, we'll just
your dollar is worth less, and it means you are paying 10 to 60% more for everything.
Bullshit. You are not. You're paying more for gas for a period of time, and that is going down. You're paying more for houses or used cars for a time being. But if you're not buying either one of those, the rent jack-up isn't happening across the entire fucking country. It's only happening in the areas where everybody's exodusing either, allegedly California, New York, or Illinois to go to fucking Texas. Austin is where the rents are going up, not fucking Seattle and Portland, liberal bastions and all this stuff.
Who caused the price of gasoline to go up? Mr. Cancel XL Pipeline. Do it.
That doesn't affect the fucking amount of gas in the... It didn't exist. We didn't grow another group of human beings during the... We lost people. People who would have driven. People who would have had jobs. People who would have used heating oil. They're dead now. Not just here, worldwide. There's less fuel being used. I mean, this year-over-year bullshit. I mean, we've seen this a bunch of times.